You met wee Daniel. You met wee Daniel, and you
Oh,
were on a
oh,
broadcast
I
with
did.
him on TG
Yeah,
Cahir.
that's correct.
What was that like meeting him?
He was really funny. It was in Armagh actually that performance, but I was over in Orlando at the time, and I flew back literally just for the like 3 days of the performance. And I have to give credit, Mr. David Hayes, the musical director, music coordinator in Raglan Road, where I was in America, which you know, but maybe your listeners don't. He set up that gig, and yeah, Daniel was kind of hilarious, man. Like, those raps like of Daniel O'Donnell, like I feel like they're kind of more closer to his actual personality. Like there's definitely, I don't know if I'm ratting him out now, but I feel like there was a switch of when he gets on stage, he's kind of a different guy, but he was a bit like he was very funny, and he had a line for everyone. Like he was switched on from the start, like, and actually, like, whatever, there's sort of an opinion or vast whatever perception of Daniel O'Donnell, but like everyone wanted to talk to him. Everyone wanted a picture with him. You know what I mean? Like there was people my age, there was people 5 years younger than me that were like, "Oh, my granny absolutely obsessed with you. She'd be delighted if I got a picture." And he has a line for everyone. I just thought it was actually kind of funny. I kind of sit back and watched him a bit, because I was just like, it's interesting seeing him interact with people.
If you were to compare his style of country music, and I'm not ratting on Daniel O'Donnell. I think he's a great man. I respect everything he's done for the Irish diaspora and for the music scene at home. But
Yeah.
we'll compare and contrast that with what we'll say American country on the radio. Have you a difference of opinion, or did you even know that that genre existed before going to the States?
Like American country, did I know that that existed? Is it like I know what you mean? As in like the radio country, stadium country.
Yeah.
I tell you where I picked that up when I worked on cruise ships. I worked for Carnival Cruise Lines, like when I got straight out of college, and that's where I discovered like how absolutely enormous country music was, because we were cruising out of Charleston, South Carolina. Almost said North Carolina. I was going to get in big trouble there. Um, and I could not get over it. These songs that I had never heard in my life, never heard, and people were like, they're the only songs we want to hear, like Florida Georgia Line, and they had, because I remember the rock band on the ship had like a country set, and I would just go in and rob all of their set. And the first day I showed up, like I was way off the mark with what I thought they would want. And my musical director, really, really lovely fella from Texas, Christopher Arellano is his name, and he came on and was just like, "Here's a USB stick, go and learn this." And I got maybe 4 or 5 songs into it. I was like, yeah, that's enough to like if I sprinkle a bit in every set. But people would lose their minds. I knew like if I needed the crowd to turn and come my way, then I would play some Cruise by Florida Georgia Line. That was like my go-to fail safe. But
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't believe it, man, how massive it was. Obviously, I knew American country was big, and I know all the like most famous, the people who cut through to the mainstream. Like, was a huge Johnny Cash fan. Um, I knew about all that, but I didn't know how absolutely enormous country music is, man. It's crazy.
It's similar to Irish music, I guess,
Yeah,
beyond. And when I say Irish music, I'm always referring to Irish traditional music. And I think that's also a common mistake because just like the way we might have a preconceived notion of what country music is, a lot of
sure.
people have a preconceived notion of what Irish music is. And there's a lot of
Yeah,
subtleties because Irish music could mean anything from you and I to the Dubliners and you
yeah,
too, but
yeah.
stylistically, they're different.
Completely light years apart. But it's like there's subgenres of everything. It's like there's subgenres of country music. There's subgenres of even like what's to perceived as Irish music. Ballads and tunes are completely different things, and the people who live in those worlds are completely like opposed. Ideology wise and everything like that. You know what I mean? Like, and even like the rebel ballads and the regular ballads, even they're sort of separate streams as well. So it's amazing. But I guess that's what music is too, is like carving your little niche out and kind of sticking to it.
Can you remember the first song you wrote?
I I'm not sure if it was the first song I wrote, but I was thinking about it recently. Yeah, I do remember like the first song that I'll put it this way. It's funny because you'll know this because you write songs. It was the first song I wrote that I actually went and learned afterwards. You know the way you write. I could write like 100 songs in a year, and maybe like four of them I practice regularly. Um, because that's my ratio of like good songs I write is 4 to 100. But I do remember the very first song that I like learned, and it was about my grandfather who passed away. But sorry to bring down the tone now, but it
Oh
was
no.
yeah, that was the first song I remember that I learned, and I like thought it was amazing as well. Which getting back to the confidence thing, I thought was class. And then, no, I made a mistake there. I do remember there was another song that my buddies, if they hear this podcast, they will remember it. Um, it was about like an ex-girlfriend, but that was one of those ones where I was like, I had the confidence to go like, lads, I wrote this song and I want to play it for you. And you know what happens when you play a song for your Irish teenage friends? Like, it's the
Slag, slag,
harshest.
slag, slag, slag.
Like, you're never gonna get worse criticism in your entire life than you are from your Irish teenage friends. Like, it set me up for a lifetime of being like, I actually don't care what anyone says. You have to do your own thing because they would just annihilate you. The character assassination is just on another level. But yeah, did that answer your question? I think it did, kind of.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
I think not the first song I wrote, but when I went down to Raglan Road and I didn't see you perform there, I don't know who was on stage to be honest with you, but I definitely did visit Raglan Road. All
Well, I
the
didn't know that.
vitamin D from the sunburns or whatever just kind of supercharged me, and I was
Sure.
very happy. Not only was I happy, but I was a small bit on the randy side as well. I don't know what it was.
Wow, Jesus Christ.
I've never been exposed to that level of sunshine before.
It does do
Uh,
that to you. Definitely, 100%.
and I remember I was writing a song about the natural process when a man meets a woman, and I compared it to making a cup of tea. And I played that for my Irish friends, and they're like, "What the fuck is this, man? You've lost the marbles." I was like, "That's what the
Yeah.
Florida sun will do to you."
See, that's the kind of story I want when somebody asks me, do I remember my first song? That's fantastic. The Florida sun will do that to you, man. But that's like, you see all the. There's a reason why Miami is the way it is. I'll
Yeah.
just leave it at that.
How did you
But
get? How did you end up down there?
it was after. It's a very long and convoluted story, so I'll give you the footnotes.
We'll go for
After
the
I.
long story because it's
You
long
want the
form.
long form?
I want to know the inside and out of Colin Andrew, because when you're the next wee Daniel, I'll be like, "Hey, I had him on the podcast."
I tell you what, I'm gonna give you the full story, even though it gets into like intimate details about my personal life. All right, that's how much I trust you as a person, and also the rest of the world at
Okay.
some stage.
All right.
I was working on cruise ships, right? And I met a girl from Florida. Okay, so now we're really opening up. Um, basically, right? So I moved back to Cork. She followed me to Cork. Her visa was running out. This is like me. I don't know why I'm giving this version of the story, but this is like me being fully honest. I wanted to get over to America then. So I was looking around for more gigs, basically. And I found out about this gig in Orlando because a couple of my friends had done it. And I goes, this just couldn't be more perfect because she was from Florida as well. Um, and so I went and applied for the gig. But it's funny, it's one of these things, right? Where I went for kind of a very selfish reason or a very personal reason. Um, but the gig ended up giving me so much more than that, you know what I mean? Because, well, as some relationships do, it eventually fell apart, right? Whatever. Um, but I ended up getting a gig that I was really happy with and met people that I just love and adore, and they're some of my best friends, like that I'll have for life now. You know what I mean? And it's just funny how these things work out. And music is just incredible like that. And sometimes And especially now, because it is difficult, right? Being a musician at the moment is just kind of a bit torturous. But like the stuff that I've been able to do in life, it wouldn't have happened if I'd gone down another route. Because I'm sure I would have just, I'm not, I would have done something else, probably chefing or whatever, anything. But I know for a fact that I wouldn't have had the experiences that I have had.